Hello and welcome. Today we've got Lewis Herms, and today we are going to be discussing, do the Democrats, are they controlling the body doubles? Are they infiltrating them because the real ones are getting arrested by the white hats? What's really going on? Lewis says he has something to say about this. He's got maybe some evidence that he wants to show us. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at Nicholas.Veniamin. You have to write the full thing because Instagram is censoring me like crazy. If you'd like to follow my daily newsreels. Lewis, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Awesome. There's a lot of things. I'll be traveling a lot. I've got some undisclosed locations and that we'll be sending video from. We have evidence of a lot of things coming up. So I've been doing a lot of digging lately. And I've come to a kind of a weird conclusion that it's possible that the bad guys are controlling the body doubles. So I'll kind of go over that and what the evidence is. And it's really just a conversation because nobody's talking about this. But I've mentioned this to a couple of people and it was a big time aha moment. So it made sense to them. So I think this is a good conversation to have.
So if you're saying that the Democrats are, putting doubles, if you like, body doubles, that's what I wanted to say. What's happening to the real ones? Who's taking them out, or what's happened with the real ones?
Okay, so it's not just Democrats. I would say even the deep state in general. But okay, have you heard of a Hydra? What a Hydra is?
No.
Okay, so Hydra is a mythical creature, dragon-like creature with multiple heads on it, right? And what happens is when you cut off the head of the Hydra, according to the mythology, that the head grows back. It replaces. Some of the mythology says it replaces twice as much. Interesting enough, and most people don't know this, there's actually a real being called a Hydra that lives in the ocean that is exactly that, where you cut the head off the Hydra, the one in the ocean, and it grows back another head. So I believe that at the beginning of this war that we know, let's just say 2016-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the white hats took down, and I said this before, the whole top tier. I think they took down the top of the 13 families and a lot of the people that we know. For example, Hillary Clinton, for sure, on, I believe it was 9/11, 2016, she so-called fainted. I have a video that proves that she's actually in handcuffs. It's not speculation. It's proof that she's in handcuffs.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, and it went viral, and people are like, oh, wow, this looks real. And it is, because I did the video myself. Anyways, so she was replaced the same day, the same outfit, but she was shorter, and she was shown hugging kids. There's no Secret Service around. It was clearly a body double on that day. I don't even think a Democrat could dispute that unless they're headed so far in the clouds. It was a body double.
Let's talk about this, okay?
Sure.
The mainstream media, and I consider Tucker Carlson to be somewhat the mainstream media. He is mainstream, but he's a good mainstream outlet that unfortunately Fox News has let go, which I think was God's plan, because what he's doing now is he's doing great. He's solo. And when he was on Fox News, he spoke how that is not Joe Biden. Who is that man? He looks different and he behaves different. It's not who he is. Now, we've been seeing this Joe Biden quite a lot now. This Joe Biden that we have as president. Now, you see
this
him on
version of him, right?
We see that. Thank you. Right. Yes, we see this version of him today. And when you've seen this version on today, I want all the viewers now to go on Google when they get a chance and put Joe Biden 2013 or 2014 and see that real version of Joe Biden, how he looks completely different to the one we know today. And you will notice the difference only because we're immune to the new version of Joe Biden today. And we've all spoken about the ears. The earlobes on the old or the real Joe Biden are rounded and detached. The new Joe Biden today, the fake one, if you like, the body double, I don't know. But I can tell you as a matter of a fact that his earlobes are attached to his face. This
Yep.
is a fact. This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. And this is why Tucker Carlson made reference to this.
Mhm.
So definitely something, Lewis, is going on. What do you think about the Joe Biden possible double?
Well, the other thing too is your ear is almost like a fingerprint, right? No two ears are exactly alike. So the ear in the top and center part of his ear is completely different also. Because the reason why I mentioned that, because you'll get outfits like Snopes and things like this. Oh, he just had plastic surgery and they attach the ear. That's common, which is BS. But regardless, so if you look inside of the ear, it's also completely different. But let's set the stage here. From let's say the beginning of time when there were leaders, whether it was emperors or czars or Caesars or presidents, prime ministers, whatever there were, kings and queens, there were body doubles. There's been body doubles for thousands and thousands of years. So for people to think this is some crazy anomaly, it's been going on since the beginning of leaderships in general. And that was to do two things. So what happened is it was to protect the leaders. So they would send the bodies out, doubles in public and so on and so forth. And many of them would get killed. And then they still secured leadership. The other thing that would happen is if they ever wanted to take out a leader, they would replace it with a body double. And the council or the knights that are behind that body double would control everything. Isn't that interesting? So here, let me do this. I brought this thing. So I'll put on my tinfoil hat so people they can know right away, okay, I'm crazy, right? But the reality is body doubles have been real and are real forever. Biden is clearly about a body double. Frankly, I believe that he's got 3 or 4 body doubles, and a couple of people believe it with me. Now, the question is, who's controlling them, so on and so forth. So let's look at some other instances. If you look at a picture of Beyonce, for example, 3 years ago compared to today, that's not the same person. Not even close to the same person.
Okay.
Madonna.
So just like Joe Biden's ears, and I know it's not anaplastic surgery, because the forehead is much narrow on the new Joe Biden. So could you give us an example on what we can look out for on the current Beyonce?
Oh yeah, she's white.
Oh, they like that, don't they? Because they don't like black people. It's racist,
Right.
And they would never make. I found out that they wanted Michael Jackson white in order to make him the king of pop, because that was part of his satanic ritual. They would never make a black man the king, and that's why they made Elvis, who had a black sounding voice, the king. And they would never make, they took Eminem, who's a rapper who sings black music, and they make a white man the king of rap when it should have really been Tupac, but they will never give the title king to a black man.
And Beyonce is considered the what? The queen. The queen bee.
The queen bee.
White. She's white as white right now. If you look at her, that's not the same Beyonce. Facial structure is different, and she's white. I mean, the fact that people can dispute this blows me away. And have you seen Madonna's transformation over the last few years? That's a completely different person. It's madness that people don't even see it. I'll go as far to say it. The Rock is he's at minimum CGI in all his movies. I think he's transformed also. But let's go into politics. Anybody with true brain cells to rub together have to know that Justin Trudeau of Canada is completely different. Completely different. You can see the before and the after pictures. It's not the same guy.
So what kind of differences?
Well, his whole facial structure, his jawline is completely different. He seems like a better looking version than he was before. The same thing they did with, I believe, Gavin Newsom in California. I have a question for you, because one person that looked a little bit different to me was Boris Johnson. Do you think they traded him out, or do you just think that's the same guy as before?
I really have no idea. For me, he looked the same. I don't understand where people say, Trump's got a double and he might have a double. But for me, he looks the same. The doubles look exactly the same. I've studied the ears. I've studied everything. When Trump takes off his tie, his chin drops and it relaxes because he's quite big around here. And when it relaxes, it really does make a big impact to his appearance when he's not wearing a tie versus when he's wearing a tie, everything's pushed up. So it does have a big impact on his appearance. And I can understand why people say, oh, he looks different here. But he sounds the same. He there is, and everything is exactly the same. So I don't understand that one. But then on the other hand, people are saying Elvis Presley is Bob Joyce. I do not see it at all. It looks nothing like Elvis. Elvis is much older, taller. His eyes are much more wide apart, and he's bigger boned. You know, and it's just nothing like Elvis to me. The teeth are different. Everything's different. His limbs are longer. Everything.
Right. Now, for safety reasons, President Trump would have body doubles.
Maybe,
whether we've seen pictures of them or not it can definitely be disputed. So I'm not 100% on that, although I do believe that he would have body doubles also for safety reasons. But the reality is, there's a lot of people that have been replaced. Here's the real question, though. And this is the I guess the crux of this matter is, who's replacing these people that we know have been taken out? And who are they loyal to? Are they playing a part for the white hats, or do they do the bidding for the baddies? You know, and I'll say, this is an opinion. It appears that Joe Biden, because he acts like a total buffoon, right? And based on him not him re-signing executive orders, him ignoring some things, and so on and so forth, he seems like he's a puppet of the white hats to me, right? But we are in a real war, so we have to figure out what's the black hats' plan, and they do have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say real war, we can no longer say the white hats are 100% in control. I don't know where that patriot mythology came from. I know a lot of people interpreted Q as that, so on and so forth, but I have people that work directly on a border that I'm communicating with all the time, right? And I can tell you that people are pouring through the border. I can tell you there's a war in the Tacoma section on the southern border of Arizona, a physical war. I can tell you that I believe at least half of the Border Patrol are bad guys and the other half are good guys. And there's a battle within the Border Patrol in the United States. So for somebody to tell me that the white hats are 100% in control, where I'm getting constant reports of rapes and shootings and human trafficking and drugs just pouring over the border that our teams can see, you cannot tell me the white hats are 100% in control. Now, can you say they're winning the war? Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think it really seems like it. And they're handing it over to we the people. But here's some back play that's going on. And this may indicate maybe the black hats could be running some of the body doubles. I don't think they're doing it Joe Biden, though. So here's something going on is right now, have you heard of Gavin Newsom? He's the governor of California, right? I believe they're grooming Gavin Newsom to take over for Joe Biden. We've thought this for about a year and a half, 2 years. But what's really interesting is what's in play is I want to read an actual rule I wrote down here. This is the actual Democratic National Convention rule. It's unconstitutional, but it's their rule. It says, quote, in the event of death, resignation, or disability of a nominee of the party for president or vice president after the adjournment of the National Convention, the national chairperson of the Democratic National Committee shall confer with the Democratic leadership of the United States Congress and Democrat Governors Association and shall report to the Democrat National Committee, and here's where it goes, which is authorized to fill the vacancy. So what they're saying is Biden at the end of February, March can accept the nomination because he'll win the caucuses through the Democrat convention. The next day he can resign, be killed, be declared, which, by the way, the Democrats are setting up, be declared dysfunctional brain-wise. They can take somebody and just replace them. No vote, no nothing. Put the new guy in there. So it's possible that the White House could be controlling this whole Joe Biden, and then the Democrats can actually replace him with no vote whatsoever. So Why do I think this could be happening? Well, let's look at what Newsom's been doing. Over the last couple of years, Governor Newsom has been traveling the world, meeting all the world leaders. Right? Generally, a governor of a state doesn't do that. Xi of China, the person that runs China, actually flew in to San Francisco, California to meet who? And first, Governor Newsom. And what does Newsom just do last week? He does a presidential type debate with DeSantis. They're grooming this guy to be running for president. And I believe they're going to use this really crazy rule that I believe that rule was just voted in within the last year, by the way, that really crazy rule to try to insert him. And that could be the black hats versus the white hat fight. So yeah, white hat Biden could be running this, and then this could be their way to get their bad guy in there. It's very, very interesting, but it's very clear. Here's what's clear. The deep state is totally grooming us, the people, to accept Newsom as the Democrat presidential nomination.
Well, I think he looks like a psycho. He looks like the Joker from Batman. If you look at those eyes, if you look at The Bodyguard, the film with Whitney Houston, the person that killed Whitney Houston, the assassinator, those psychopath eyes, same eyes as Gavin Newsom. Yep.
Now, is he even the original Gavin Newsom? No, don't know that either. I mean, the pictures look completely different, and who knows? You don't know what we don't know. So I like to take more of the pragmatic approach here, and I don't go all the way down that's why I have my tinfoil hat for fun. I don't go all the way down the tinfoil hat thing because I try to look at the evidence. There's clear evidence that there's a few body doubles out there. I think that's undisputable.
Now, obviously, from the ears of Joe Biden, this is not a conspiracy theory. You can see they're different. Their behavior is different. The forehead is different. Everything's different. And I think most of the viewers would agree. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why, if the white hats are controlling Joe Biden, why is he reckoning the country? Why is he doing it? And I think they are making the left, they're using the double Joe Biden to wake up the people, to show them what the left is really like. Because if the Democrats were in control of Joe Biden, they would have him run as smooth as Barack Obama, because everybody loved Barack Obama. Everybody bought into it. But that's how we know. That's how I know. They wouldn't make the left look. They're embarrassing. Joe Biden, the new version, double body, whatever you want to call him, is completely embarrassing the left. And people are waking up. They want Trump back. Even the people that did not like Trump are now liking Trump. And this, I think, is a plan to wake the people up so they could wake up and do the thinking on their own without being told the truth, because they need to experience it for us to have not history repeat itself so that we can be ready for the new system that we're about to embark on. What are your thoughts?
I 100% agree. The only thing that keeps sticking in my head, though, the only thing is, why are the borders so open and we have military-aged men flowing across the borders? Why do we have so much human trafficking going through the roof, fentanyl, rape, and all this stuff because of the open borders? So that means the White Hats made a conscious decision of numbers. Like, this is the only way we're going to wake people up. We're willing to lose a lot of people and have a lot of bad things happen because that's the greater good. That's the only thing that makes sense to me of why they would let their Biden completely open the borders the way they are.
My answer to that is, we are in a war. We are in a real-time war, even though that the White Hats have some operational control over certain things. And we are allowing them to do what they want so that they could be entrapped and arrested. And also for the people to see what's going on, and for the people to realize and to wake up to the fact, or to wake up to what they don't want, so that we can move into, we could take local action as well.
Right. So
that's my.
No, I don't disagree. In fact, there's a couple of things. Number one is, if we, the people, don't take accountability, and don't start taking action ourselves, it doesn't matter if somebody comes in on a white horse, we're going to be right back here in a few years. So absolutely, it needs to activate from the ground level, the foundation. I always say the micro fixes the macro. 100% agree with. And the reality is, and I hate to say this, but if we go through 5-10 years of terror for 1,000 years of peace, was it worth it? And I believe that's probably the mentality of the white hats, is they kind of have to play a numbers game. And, you trade 100,000 for billions. I don't know what their thought process is, but it's one of those things. I may not like it, but I understand it.
If people don't wake up, and if people do not wake up at all, it's important. It's not everybody needs to wake up, but the majority need to wake up. At least 80-90% need to wake up for us to see the change. If we don't see that shift happening, in my opinion, the white hats are not going to be able to do it by themselves, because if they do it by themselves, then it's called a dictatorship. So we need to wake up. We need to want the change too. And I think this is why it's being played out like this. This is why it's been, and maybe they thought that the COVID pandemic was going to do it, but it maybe hasn't done it enough, because people are still buying into it. But I do see people waking up. I do see that the mainstream media, people are starting to see through the mainstream media. People are seeing the truth now from we the people via social media, the TikTok reels, the Instagram reels that are going viral. People are getting censored, but there's a lot going on when in contrast to what's going on the mainstream media. And the truth is going to come out with we the people. And I think people are waking up, and I think it's great news. We're going in the right direction. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I'm actually excited about the future. And, if anytime there's growth, there's generally some type of pain. And in order to be comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable first. It's the same with working out. It's the same in exploring your mind. It's the same in growing a business. There's always the uncomfortable spot to get to the good spot. This is life, right? And I believe the good guys they've mapped it out. I mean, I've been told that they use these supercomputers better than quantum, and they're mapping out all the scenarios, and let's assume that's true. I get where the direction they're going, and we the people have to take ownership of this. And honestly, it's one of my most frustrating things, and that's why I say things like, at the end of the day, did you leave a larger impression on your couch than on the world? And that will dictate exactly what you did to turn this around.
I cannot wait for us to move into the new world, because the way it is now, it's very corrupt. I almost got in trouble by the FDA via a company that has this amazing glutathione cream substance that I've been sharing with my friends, who eliminated their problem on their skin. And I won't go into it because I don't want to get in trouble again. Okay. But and she was sharing her experience, her testimonial. And I wanted to ask you if we could tell the viewers more about this, because I know you're much better with your words working around these corrupt 3-letter agencies. Please, Lewis.
Well, the glutathione product is tremendous, and it's made by a company named Numi. And what it is we have to understand that glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body, right? So what it does is it sends a signal to your mitochondria. It says your mitochondria go to work, and the mitochondria actually says what's going wrong with the body, and we take care of it, right? The reason why the FDA is so strict is because literally the pharmaceutical industry can be completely decimated by just this one product. And there's other great companies out there also. This is the only product that I would ever use for glutathione, because I know the process they use is patented, and it's called hydrostat, that another company can't use. Now, that being said, they have something new, which is a botanical formula for women. But guess what? Because it's a botanical, the FDA has no control over it whatsoever. So you can talk about it all day long. And every woman knows about the inconveniences at their cycles and their hormone changes, just normal life stuff, right? This botanical formula has the same hydrostat technology. It's called, I have it here actually. It's called Herms. It's by Numi. It's a little different color, right? And it's cramp relief, decreased bloating, hormone balance, hot flashes are minimized, sleep better, natural energy, increased libido, mood improvement. I said that they should actually take it and name it Hers for Hims, because the guys are seeming to really, really love it, just based on the mood balance that the ladies have, and the ladies are loving it. Now, this is designed for women of every season of life. But here's what's cool, and this is what I picked out of this. They did a double-blind study while they were testing this product, right? And like all double-blind studies, they use placebos. Now, generally, a placebo in anything will give up to 15% positive reaction. The placebo in this double-blind study with real doctors and tons of people checking it had a 0% positive reaction on a placebo. Now, why would you say that matter? Oh, that's huge, because unfortunately, women do not have any confidence in the industry the products trying to take care of this problem. Women have tried these products, and they get no results. So they go into the double-blind study and they're like, this isn't going to work. That's why they've had a 0% placebo effect. But the astronomical results from anybody from the ages of 14 to 80 are getting phenomenal results. And I can tell you, my wife loves it. She uses this, and this is an amazing, amazing product. Just another one from Numi that you can get. So me, I do not represent a bunch of products, but this company, I have a duty to tell we the people about it. That's why I'm so passionate about it.
Well, there are companies out there that are there to profit and make loads of money, and there's companies out there that want the betterment of humanity. They do exist. Lewis, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I will leave a link below in the description so that people can have access to this wonderful benefit that you've just discussed. Lewis, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Well, things are ramping up, guys. If you want to participate, just go to rememberyouroath.com, and we actually have a Patriot app coming out that everybody can connect together, and you can see everything going on in your area also. So just go to rememberyouroath.com.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much, Lewis, and I'll speak to you again soon. You take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nick.